Hey everyone, I'm Leo.
And I'm Frank.
And this is yet another brand new episode of
Terror Recollect. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in yet again. Today we have a very fun episode for you today.
Absolutely.
I said today twice.
Yes.
We have a very fun episode because we are going to be discussing the post-Craven Scream films. That would be Scream 5 and Scream 6.
Let's start with Scream 5. What are your initial thoughts on the movie as a whole?
Overall, I liked it. A lot of people didn't.
And that's Season 3, Episode 4. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you all next week.
Some people liked it, some people didn't.
What are your overall thoughts? Let's just say on the two films. How they picked up with the tone of the original Scream franchise.
The tone is there. The self-referential style that carried over from all the previous four films.
Mm-hmm.
That was never lost. I thought not having Wes Craven did make a difference. Bringing in a new cast is probably what was the key to it. I did like the new cast, and that says because in Part 4 I didn't like any of the new cast.
Nope, same here.
So, and that would have been a terrible way. Well, most of them died anyway, but that would have been a terrible way to pass the torch. And I'm glad they didn't do that. This one was a good passing of the torch, I thought.
Absolutely, yeah. It was a
Ortega.
Very solid cast, and that was kind of before she was really known as Jenna Ortega. She just did this really convincing opening sequence, and you think she's going to be the next victim, like the Drew Barrymore character, Casey Becker, but she survived. This is going to have spoilers, by the way. If you haven't seen it, go see it and come back. Of course, the very lovely, gorgeous, and wonderful Melissa Barrera.
What's her face from Part 4 came back?
Marley Shelton.
Marley Shelton. She came back.
And that's, I think, what was an interesting through line is that even though her character was introduced in 4, she was kind of a ditzy character, you kind of had this continuity of sorts with that character coming back. I think the biggest difference in this film, as I think, is that they were aware that they had to pay tribute to Wes Craven. So one of the characters' name is
Wes.
And unfortunately, or fortunately for the audience who wants to see an interesting kill, that character dies. So you end up having this kind of...
It's kind of a meta tribute.
Meta tribute, because the rest of the film is dedicated to the loss of that character. So they said, we're doing this for Wes. For Wes. I just got chills, interestingly. And I think that's the beauty part of Scream 5, or it's just known as Scream 2022. Yeah. So that's one of the things that I really liked about it. Like Frank said, the tone nails it perfectly. The intensity of Ghostface, I believe, is there. I don't know. What are your other thoughts on it?
Well, things like the score was, worked really well. They brought back Dewey's theme.
Well, that's a good transition, too, because I know that's one of the things that frustrates you the most is...
So, it's a requel, right? They say it's a requel. That was the first time I heard that term.
I think that's the first time anyone's ever said that term. And a requel is what?
A requel is not she says it's not a sequel, but it's not a remake. It's like a continuation, kind of a passing of the torch to these new characters, but also bringing in a legacy characters to round out the cast. Right. So you got Neve Campbell coming back, you got Courtney Cox coming back, David Arquette. And Marley Shelton was really, in 5, she was the only connection to 4 as far as the new character.
Mm-hmm.
She dies too, so kind of. And honestly, she was one of the best parts of 4. I don't like Part 4, but she actually was one of the.
She was she was a good connection.
She was a good red herring in 4.
Yeah, she was a good connection from 4 to 5. Because she was one of the best new characters in 4. So, I mean, later on in, Scream 6, there's another character from 4 that comes along that did pretty well, in my opinion. But when you have that first chapter, it's a make or break. You're either going to nail it or you're not. People are going to go, this is this is flies in the face of the memory of Wes Craven. But I think they did exactly opposite. I think they would have made Wes Craven very, very proud. It feels like a true continuation.
And Scream 4 came out in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
This is 2022. So, what, 11 years went by, and that people were ready for a new Scream. But they weren't sure how it was going to be without Wes Craven. So I think people were, flocked to the theaters to kind of see how it would play out. But just from that first trailer, it was very interesting. They did kind of spoil, in my opinion, a couple of things.
What was spoiled in the trailer?
Well, Dewey's death was spoiled.
Was it though?
It was.
If you know,
go back and watch the trailer. It shows Gail. She's a mess. She's crying. She's screaming.
She could just be upset and crying because there's some other reason, purpose.
There's no reason she would have done that. So, not even if Neve Campbell's character died, not even she wouldn't be doing that. I think they did a really good job with some of the scares, some of the kills, and I actually did not mind the reveal. The reveal is Jack Quaid and Mikey Madison's character, who are Stab fans.
Yeah, so the concept behind the movie is that they're making a new Stab movie because there's the movie within the movie, and it's a horrible movie, so it's passion gone awry.
Yeah, it's basically like, that franchise to them was a very beloved thing that went off the rails.
Yep.
And they wanted to give them new source material to pull from. That was basically their motive. And I thought Jack Quaid did a good job. It's usually, a lot of these times when the killers are revealed at the end, they go into this they change their persona like to the extreme.
Mm-hmm.
Mikey Madison, I wasn't a fan of hers. Once she took the thing off, she was all very like, like very like crazy. Oh, I'm crazy. And
felt very reminiscent of her character in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Right. So
even the bean burnt to a crisp.
Right. So, but throughout the whole, before that, she was very calm and collected. Didn't really talk that much. But then all of a sudden, as soon as she takes, as soon as she's revealed, it's like she totally doesn't want to eat her character. So I don't really like that. But I thought Jack Quaid I thought Jack Quaid was really good in it.
Jack Quaid, Melissa Barrera, Jenna Ortega,
who was the new final girl, along with Jenna Ortega.
Well, and the fact that they, cast a new heroine in the lead, that's a make or break.
Oh yeah, especially when you're kind of replacing Neve Campbell.
Yeah, and even if Neve is there as a legacy character in the late in the second act, third act, I mean, you're there as a support system, but if she can't hold her own, it doesn't matter. If there's not enough there for you to connect with and to feel and to get behind this group of people, then you're just not there. But because the directors nailed the tone, the writing was there, even the cinematography felt very similar. So visually, tone-wise, everything, it was just like, I mean, for lack of another term, it was like a love letter to Wes Craven and saying, like, this is what you gave us. We're giving it to the fans in your voice, on your behalf. And I think that's recognizing a director's influence on a series of films, because you can see when a different director steps in and gives it their own voice. And it felt like they did not necessarily want to do that. They don't want to give it their own voice because they know that this is Scream 5. So it's like, let's keep the consistency going. And I really applaud the filmmakers for that. That's something that's huge. And as someone who likes consistency in movies, that was a major sell for me. Because I wasn't convinced. I'm like, well, Scream 4 kind of dropped the ball. Scream 5 with no Wes Craven and different leads. I don't know. Frank was excited, but I was very questionable on it. But then I saw it and absolutely loved it. It felt like, late 90s again. You were back in the realm of Ghostface in his prime. And you have the through line of Randy living through his twin niece and nephew, which I thought was really cool.
That could have easily a new Randy, which basically you had Kirby in part 4.
Yeah, and that kind of fell flat.
Yeah, so basically doing it again, it was a risk.
And especially, I mean, they kind of gender swapped it because the film nerd is the girl. The niece and nephew, it's the niece of Randy. So you're not doing like a straight literal translation. And I think the reason that it did not work with Kirby is because all it was a gender swap. Whereas there's enough separation as to the uniqueness of the niece character to Randy. You almost get that like generational gap. It's not like copy paste, make it a female Randy.
But they were still likable.
Yeah. Absolutely, they were likable.
You had Heather Matarazzo as the mom.
That was a good connection to Scream 3. Yeah. Absolutely.
Even though I can't stand her character.
I like the fact that in little things like having Tatum's ashes in Dewey's home.
It was a blinking you'll miss it.
Yeah. And I mean, it just goes to show the level of detail that they were willing to go to say how much they cared. And I think that's my greatest thing. It shows that the directors cared. It shows that it wasn't, I mean, maybe it was a cash grab, but it shows that they really gave a damn about what was happening, about wanting to do it right. So there was attention to detail in a way that you want them to have. And that's what sold me on it. And I mean, going back to Stu's house was awesome.
But see, that's the thing. They spoiled that in the trailer too.
I only watched trailers once, and I forget what's in it.
No, I was a fan of Scream. I paid attention to that. I paid attention to it, and they if that would have been left to like as a surprise, that would have been cool. But they spoiled that. They spoiled Dewey's death, and they showed most of the opening in the trailer too. I did like the opening. I like it was a sort of a subversion on your expectation. Like we're used to the opening kill being the opening kill. And the fact that she survives, not only survives that, but she survives the movie.
Yeah.
And she's like one of the final girls. It's not just Melissa Barrera, it's her too.
Right.
So it's this sister thing, which is a great dynamic. They have good chemistry together. Actually, the whole new group had a good chemistry, I thought.
Yeah, and it came across as people that you don't want to see die, but you want to see them keep going. You want to see them become, more full-fledged legacy characters at some point. You want to see them become core cast and survive the nonsense. I mean, you kind of go, all right, well, the friends on just the outside of the circle probably won't last. They're, because people do got to go. So, but then, you have a very interesting set of kills that are new and fresh, like Wes's knife to the neck. It kind of kept moving in and out. They subverted expectation.
Effect. They could have easily done that with CGI, and they just practical, which I appreciated.
Yeah. So all of the callbacks were nailed, I think, perfectly. And it really, I can't think of another film that does that, where one director has helmed multiple films in a series, and then that filmmaker is no longer with us, but we all want to see the return of those characters, both the Ghostface character and Sidney and all of that. You want to see them come back, but you go, well, how can we do that? And then a group of filmmakers say, we can do it. I did not expect that, and I think that was the greatest surprise, wonderful surprise of the movie for me.
And they were genuine fans of the ones that came before.
And it gave me a lot of hope for where the franchise would go. And then it ended up going into Scream 6, because the other one's just called Scream 2022, but I guess it's Scream 5 or 5 Cream.
So let me say this. There's just so many things wrong with Scream 6. The more I watch it, it's one of those. The more I watch it, the more I find things. I find the flaws. I do really, really like the opening compared to 5.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's a fantastic opening.
The phone call, the beautiful girl getting killed.
I like that it's out in the open.
It's out in the open. And
that was a nice switch.
That's a big thing about it being taking place in New York.
Yep.
Was that but then when he does that swipe, you're used to it just cutting to the title card, right? But then when it didn't, I was like, oh.
Yeah, they held on Ghostface.
Yeah.
And your brain recipe goes, okay, something's different, and I like it.
Yeah.
And then you have the unmasking, which you never see before, or at least that early in the film.
And I remember looking over at my wife, just like,
right, yeah.
And she was looking at me because she was like, she knew I'd probably, was digging that, which I was.
Absolutely.
So, and I was, and in my mind, I was like, are we gonna follow we go through the whole movie knowing who Ghostface is, or at least one of them, which I thought would have been interesting too. And then, a really good addition is that when after he kills her and he's going back to his apartment, he bumps into Jenna Ortega's character. So it's a very like, oh well, they're one of our leads, like, oh cool. But you get to see like the inner workings, like kind of like behind the scenes of what the killers
of like the stalking, the the setup of the prey. Yeah. It's like you see the behind the scenes, you see the gears turning,
right?
And that was interesting.
Yeah, that was very fun. I thought that was a very good thing to do. Definitely something fresh, and it's like again, 5 movies in or 6 movies in, you gotta change it up a little bit and kind of surprise the fans. So I thought they did that in 5 by letting her live. And then they definitely did it this time because I was not expecting that whatsoever.
It hooks you from the very beginning.
The only problem is with 5 and 6 is that the killer reveal to some extent was kind of predictable, both of them. It was really the motives that you kind of had trouble with. What I personally had trouble trying to come up with. I didn't know what the motive could possibly be, but I was like, oh, this person's probably the killer. Jack Quaid's probably the killer.
And I think that depends on the fan, though, because I every single time I'm shocked. Every single time there's a reveal of who the killer is. Every single time I'm shocked.
Were you shocked when Emma Roberts was the killer in 4?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I saw it coming a mile away.
And see, I think that's the thing. I think your brain as a Scream fan functions like maybe trying to solve the riddle, whereas I think my brain tends to go more on just, I'm on this ride and I'm scared as hell because I don't know who the killer is, and I don't want to think too hard because the story is still unfolding.
Right.
And I think that's part of the roller coaster ride effect of it. It's like, there's people who put their hands up when you're about to go on a roller coaster, and there's people who tense up and cringe.
Yeah.
And there's no wrong way of doing it. And to me, I think that's why every single killer reveal from the very first movie, even though Billy Loomis was very obvious as the freaking killer, that these people were the bad guys.
Yeah, because my brain, as I'm watching it, I'm trying to solve it.
I'm not at all.
I'm trying to solve it.
I'm not at all. And I think that's like I'm with every movie.
First time you get 3 killers, and it's a family basically avenging their lost son and brother,
which was Jack Quaid character.
But I do, what I do like, and I also like, and I was hoping that they would do this, is that they reference all the past killers.
That was amazing.
They reference Mickey. They reference Nancy.
The whole. I think that's one of my favorite things is the theater with all the true crime props, and the fact that, look at it from this point of view, they're film props because it's the sweater, it's the TV, it's the clothes, it's what a film collector would have, but it's also something a true crime collector would collect. And then just the beautiful way that they set up the different robes, and the fact that all their masks were gone because they keep leaving the masks at the scene of the crime. It just felt like it was a continuation of that love letter, even extending past Wes Craven's direction, but saying the story that we've all been a part of, from Billy and to everyone. Everyone's robe was represented. Everyone had their own everything, and I think that was the best continuity you could have, because even if it's just in the shot for a little bit in the true crime section, it validates that part of the story that came before, and you're there appreciating it in this present moment, and it just feels like this complete package. At least it did to me.
As far as the theater with all the evidence goes, I think it was overkill. I like I really like the robes, but if they would have just kept it to the robes, I think that would have been cool.
No,
listen.
Disagree.
You got the freaking burnt up fax machine from Scream 3.
Yeah, that's awesome.
They're not gonna have it.
They're absolutely gonna have it.
They're not gonna have it
because that caused the death of Tom Prince, who's cousins with Tom Ace from Ace Ventura. Just FYI.
No, they're not gonna have that.
They are absolutely gonna have that. That is a weapon of destruction. It blew up the house. At some point, that is going to be in evidence because they're like, how did they make this fax machine, this trigger of gas, and how whoever smells the gas. I mean, it's genius.
I don't get that. And then the fact, because I'm assuming it's like the dad that helped him get those things.
I think he says I helped him put his collection together.
Yeah, he says, did I indulge in his fantasies and his hobbies? Of course I did.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, that's not really my thing. It's almost like the family was crazy to begin with.
No, that I buy. All of them were crazy because if all four of them became killers,
right,
then there was something wrong in the genetic structure or in the home life that they would all so very easily turn to murder, and in defense. Richie turned to murder to defend his love for the film series and fandom. And then they turn to murder to avenge their loved one. It's like, how often do you get that many psychos in one family?
But that's the thing. Like, the dad and the son were just way too excited about killing.
Yeah.
So there had to be some kind of craziness in there to begin with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's why Richie had it too. Obviously, at some point.
Yeah, but that's why I like Quinn, because she actually seemed like that was really just her purpose. That was really just that was really her goal. The other two kind of like almost enjoyed it too much.
And I think that's the beauty of comparisons, is that you're able to kind of see both sides of the lens and go like, what one person finds alluring about a character or about a plot twist, the other person's like, it's terrible, I saw it coming. Or, and I think that's an interesting point of debate, because it's almost like you're both right at some point, because it's all about the perception that you're taking in. But it's also interesting because once you express why, then you almost see it from the other person's point of view, maybe a little bit. Maybe you could change their point of view. Or you stay steadfast and go, I guess that's just what appeals to me.
Right.
And that's, how you view film is a very personal choice and a very personal outlook.
Can I tell you mine?
Mm-hmm.
That unfortunately was also shown a little bit too much in the trailer, is the subway scene.
Subway scene was awesome.
Subway scene is really cool. It's when the other four are in there and they see the ghost face kind of looking at them, and then there's more than one, and they keep getting closer and closer, and then they eventually leave. That was very suspenseful. That was very because everybody's in a costume and nobody's really paying attention. And then you got the Mindy on the other train who's doing the same thing. The killer, the ghost faces. Keeps getting closer and closer, but this one's actually.
So you get the lights that are going out, and you don't know who's trick or treating and who's. Right. And then the other guy who turns out to be one of the killers is just smiling all dorky eye.
Yeah, I would have loved to see somebody die by getting thrown into the train.
Mm.
You know what I mean? If Ethan wasn't a killer, I would have had him get, because she was like, "Oh, he's a Ghostface killer." Mm. She was calling him.
Yeah, she kept calling him Ghostface.
Yeah, she's like,
she kind of got annoying for me. I mean,
she was cool in 5, and
she was
got
cool in 5, but she pushed her luck.
Yeah,
her likability factor, I believe, in 6.
Yeah.
That's probably my only criticism. Is that character was kind of borderline in the first movie or in 5, and then they just kind of pushed her too much into just annoying realm where you almost discredit what she says and what she thinks because you don't want to get behind someone like that. It's like
in 5
you want them to shut up instead of keep talking.
in 5 it was kind of like her shtick was little. It was kind of like cute and charming.
Mm-hmm.
But in 6 it was just like, we're in this franchise.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
Don't you remember how these movies work, Tara?
Yeah.
It's like she's too like
it was too on the nose,
too mousy, too like
yeah.
So
we agree on that.
And I do, and I also do like the double ghost faces trying to kill Chad, like just stabbing over it, which there's no way he should have survived that.
But yet he keeps on surviving.
And it's like, okay, they're trying to make him like the new Dewey or something, like by always, surviving. But they should have let him live. I think they should have killed both of them off. Mindy should have died on the train.
I agree.
Yeah.
I wasn't the biggest fan of the twins character. I mean, I like the through line from Randy over, but I was like, yeah, by the time we get to 6, they shouldn't survive. They really shouldn't. It's like there's too many people surviving. But I think that the benefit of having them survive is that they are now in Scream 7 because Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega were not asked back.
But as far as the sisters go, I thought it was a very strong ending.
Poignant. Beautiful. Yes, I agree.
With her holding the mask and just
letting it go.
Yeah, and then walking off with them. You have the close-up of the mask with them walking away.
Absolutely.
It was actually a great send-off for those characters. I'm
glad they didn't come back. Because I mean, whatever you're going to do is going to be a rehash.
Because, the original idea for 7, or the reveal that I think Radio Silence, I think it was still their story. They just weren't directing. So I think their original story was having Sam succumb to that evil. Yeah. So I would have liked that. And I would have liked that. So it's like, I'm glad I'm happy with the way.
It's kind of like, when you get that many chapters into a film series, you have to shock them with something like body jumping or going to hell or space or fighting Freddy.
So as far as my expectations go for 7, I'm worried, but I'm trying to stay positive because again, it's Williamson, and
who's although of the voice of the writing of the Scream franchise. This is his directorial debut as a Scream director. We have Neve Campbell back. We have, I think, a time jump, right, in the new Scream.
She's in Scream 5. She has them. Her kids. She has kids now. Or a kid. She says the girls in 5. So I'm assuming she has more than one. So, and they're in like strollers.
It's like, all right, let's bring back Beltrami. Let's put Williamson in a better role. Let's bring back Sydney and refocus it again. Yeah. And, especially since she was only in half of 5 and none of 6, it feels natural. I think it's trepidatious to step into a new film, especially Scream. I think because it's beyond your typical slasher. I mean, it was meta before meta was meta, and then you have one of the best horror directors of all time, Wes Craven, at the helm. You have a fantastic writer, Kevin Williamson, and there's a very specific recipe. So if the recipe doesn't hit, you're gonna tank it. You're gonna screw it up. So yeah, I mean, I have high hopes for it.
We have several dead characters coming back.
So even how they're going to present that is not questionable, but there's a question behind it.
There are theories that the killer will be using AI in some form, like deepfake. Like I heard a theory, or it was a rumor or something like that by someone that I think is very credible. That I heard was very credible. That they
I heard a rumor from someone I heard was credible. No. So it's basically smoke signals
listen.
And a fart in the wind.
No, but it's a rumor from somebody that's supposedly very reliable and credible.
Still,
I understand.
Someone who's supposedly reliable.
Let me tell you that theory.
I'm listening.
Supposedly there's a scene where the killer calls Sydney on video, and she answers it, and it's Stu. But it's obviously it's like AI or deepfake or something like that. Can you imagine Gail getting a call from Dewey because David Arquette is coming back? It could also be voice only.
Right.
So imagine her getting a call from Dewey saying like, I died because of
I mean, I think the only thing that keeps that from being powerful is the fact that it's very clearly not Dewey. I think it's one thing when the voice was someone who was living,
Right.
but with this one, it is just that person's dead. So there's a certain like hang up the phone kind of okay, this is obvious nonsense kind of thing. I mean, I personally don't think there's too much gravitas to that or too much at stake. I mean, I think the concept of it is interesting, but I don't know. I don't know if the characters who have been through that much would allow themselves to fall victim to a prank call, essentially.
Like they're smarter than that.
I think they're smarter than
when they
that.
could be. It could be just a real quick thing. Then it jolts them for a minute, and then they like.
I hope it's something I could never guess. That's what my true hope is.
Yeah.
And I think the concept of it is a little like, whoa, especially with, I mean, it could maybe be more than a phone call or it'd be like some trippy version of AI that is beyond what's actually possible right now. And that's something that you kind of hope when you go to the movies that someone's going to give you something you yourself could have never thought of. 7 movies in, I don't know if that's possible. Then again, Wes Craven did it 7 films in with New Nightmare.
And I think they're also filming a portion of it in Atlanta.
Mm.
And there was also a rumor, and I saw
from a suspiciously well-known.
No, I saw like a
rumored good person.
Well, I saw like a still of something that in the background it actually looked like the campus from Scream 2.
Oh, that's cool.
And the fact that they're filming in Atlanta.
Unless it's like a whole lot of, I don't know if flashbacks would be a good thing. No. Detailed flashbacks and deepfake technology or de-aging. I don't know.
Because right now, as far as old cast members coming back, there's Dewey, there's Roman, Scott Foley's coming back, Matthew Lillard, Stu, and they could also finally do the Cult of Ghostface thing where there's like several. This is what I would like to see. Can I give you
The floor is yours.
What I would like to see is I would like to see several Ghostfaces all coming together but they all have different motives, right? Just like how Mickey had his motive, Mrs. Loomis had her, but they were working together. So, but I would like to see them, their motives be, we're kind of getting revenge on the victims of the past that, are the forgotten victims of past, killings or whatever. Like someone related maybe to Casey Becker, or like everyone talks about Sydney and the survivors, but no one ever talks about the victims, and they've all been forgotten. So maybe like at the end you could have the Ghostface kind of going at it themselves, because it's like this wasn't our goal. This wasn't the plan. Whatever. So you kind of get like one of the Ghostface maybe being like an anti-hero at the end or something like that.
That would actually be an interesting turn of events.
I hope if they bring back Stu, I'm gonna be pissed. Sorry, like for real.
Like as in he never died.
Right. I'm gonna be pissed because
I don't know, but they're bringing back a lot of dead characters, so I think they have to live in that world.
But if they could bringing back a lot of dead characters because one of them isn't really dead or something.
Maybe none of them are dead. Maybe Roman's not dead. Maybe Dewey's not dead. They all became the Cult of Ghostface.
We'll do it. I don't know.
But, yeah, I mean, this was a very fun conversation in terms of the post-Wes Craven years. So I feel ready for that next chapter. I love the fact that Frank has this deep passion and wants to know and figures out movies while they're happening. I just don't see things in that manner, especially in the Scream movies. I'm more just like, take me on that roller coaster and prove me.
And that's what I needed.
Wrong. No, everyone's approach is unique to themselves.
Well, but I say that, I can say, I'm going to not try to figure it out. I'm not trying to try to guess it before it happens and be surprised when it does.
I don't think you're going to be able to.
I don't think I'm going to. That's how our mind's going to work.
No. But I mean, that's what I like about conversations like this is that, in a lot of stuff, we have very similar points of view, and then a lot of stuff they're not opposites, but come from two different places. And I think with Scream, that's a very natural thing.
I want to say my hopes are high.
Your hopes are high, your expectations are low.
I don't see. I know, yeah. I don't see them being worse than Scream 6.
Scream 6 is amazing.
So, post Craven Scream films have been, to me, hit and miss, but more good than bad, I'd say.
I'd say 4 and 5. I'm sorry, 5 and 6 are better than 4.
Oh yeah, I thought 5 was great. 6 could have been better.
Yeah, I like that.
That's a different cast of characters. That's a different story. Let's focus on 7. I think it's gonna be good. Well,
I think that's great.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to end the episode. Yeah, so we're looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in to another episode of Terror Recollection.
Yeah, both of you.
And we hope to see you again in the next episode.
Thanks for coming by.
Peace. Oh, yeah. Mrs. Loomis is still my favorite reveal of all so far. Oh. For being a Friday the 13th fan and that being such a great callback to Mrs. Voorhees.
Doesn't live up to the Mrs. Voorhees.
Oh.
Doesn't.
So this will be his last
So it's been a pleasure being a co-host on Terror Recollect.
That's Barrera. She went nude in some show. Guys, we are bringing you a very special episode. This is episode 3.
Nope. That was not.
Nope. That was not.
In all of the elements were there.
And then known as, at the time, Jennifer Ortega.
Yes, Ortega. Thank God she changed her name to something else.
Don't let me write any more jokes.